There's nothing like the Stanley Cup playoffs. Rivalries are the fullest, teams are pushed to the brink of elimination, and there's blood, sweat, and tears all over the ice. But this year especially, there has been some criticism on the playoff format, and I have to say that I agree with it. But the question is, if the NHL were to change the current playoff format, then what would be the replacement? Well, I think that I have an answer. Hey everyone, it's CTO of the Theory channel, and after my last sports video received the least views of anything else on my channel, I thought that I should go in a bit of a different direction, aka not make sports theories anymore. And I did this for quite some time, publishing 9 videos in the meantime, but then I felt like I should give this category another shot, this time with a different sport. And so here I am today, creating my own NHL playoff format. Anyway, first, some history on the topic. There have been 16 teams in the playoffs starting since 1979, but the organization of the playoffs has changed. In the 1998-99 season, the NHL realigned the league into 2 conferences, each consisting of 3 divisions. In each conference, the 3 teams that won their divisions were given the first through third seeds in the playoffs based on the number of points each team earned in the regular season. Seeds 4 through 8 would be the 5 next best teams in the conference, with the division that they're coming from not mattering anymore. So 1 would play 8, 2 would play 7, 3 would play 6, and 4 would play 5. But then, in the 2013-14 season, the NHL reconstructed the league once more, leaving the 2 conferences, but splitting them into 2 divisions each. The top 3 teams in each division now made the playoffs, with the other 2 per conference being simply the best 2 teams left. These teams would be the wildcard teams. The best division winner would play the second wildcard, the other division winner would play the first wildcard, and the second and third best teams from each division would play each other. This is the playoff format that we use currently. So, what's the problem with this format? Well, since you're watching this, you may know that it has sometimes caused the top playoff teams to play each other in round 1. For instance, this year, 3 of the top 4 teams came from the Metropolitan Division, the Capitals, Penguins, and Blue Jackets. And because seeds 2 and 3 from each division play each other, the Penguins played the Blue Jackets in round 1, and the Blue Jackets lost, causing the 4th best regular season team to be out of the playoffs so early. So obviously, the league needs a solution to this problem. And what I am proposing is sort of halfway between the old 1 versus 8 and the new wildcard formats. So without further ado, here is the Theory Channel's NHL playoff format recommendation. To start, the 2 division winners from each conference automatically hold the first and second seeds, the order based on who had the most points. Then, the 2 next best teams in each division. And finally, no matter what division they're in, the 2 next best teams, basically the wildcard teams from the current format. But here's where things change from the old and new formats. Seeds 3 through 8 are strictly determined by point value. It does not matter what division the teams are in. So technically, a so-called wildcard team could be seeded as high as 5 if they had more points than the second and third place teams from the other division. This immediately solves the division problem. But what I like best about this format is that it's not as if the divisions don't matter that much, because the top 3 teams from each automatically make it, but seeds aren't affected by them. Divisions are a big part of many sports, and teams plan strategies around their division opponents, which is part of what builds rivalries. So a team should be rewarded for winning their division, and even for getting second or third, but not so much that there is an advantage to the teams in the divisions that are the least heavy that year. And I hope I'm making sense right now, but anyway, it would then work like a 1 versus 8 playoff format would, and in the second round, the best remaining team in the conference would play the worst, while the 2 middle teams would play each other. And just take a look at how much better this year's Eastern Conference playoff picture would look if the NHL used this format. In round 1, Washington would still play Toronto, but now Montreal would play Boston, Pittsburgh would play Ottawa, and the Rangers would play Columbus. Let's say the better team wins in each series. Then in round 2, Washington would play the worst team left, Columbus, and Montreal would play Pittsburgh. This sets up the opportunity for Pittsburgh, who's ranked lower but was really the better team, to beat Montreal and then to play Washington in the conference finals instead of the semifinals like we have going on right now. I think that this format balances out the emphasis of divisions and points just right. It really could set up a better Stanley Cup playoffs. But, sadly, we are unlikely to see a change anytime soon, as the process would be long and slow. As for right now, I wish all of the teams who are still in this year's playoffs good luck, but see if you can guess in the comment section which one is my favorite. And I'm definitely not going to say that this will be my final sports video if it doesn't do too well. Since my channel hasn't really kicked off yet, I will probably try another one soon, most likely a theory predicting the Vegas Golden Knights expansion team. But up next is the long-awaited Core Line Part 3. Anyway, until then, it's CTO of the Theory channel.